Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Welcome to our program, everybody. It's going to be a great show today. We have a lot of information to share with you. This is Preparedness Friday as well. Okay, we're going to be talking about emergency preparedness for hurricanes this time. Okay, we talked briefly about this before. We're going to talk about it again tonight. I want to make sure that everybody is here waiting for this presentation because this is a special presentation that you're not going to get anywhere else. My buddy Demon Catman from the east of England is here. Welcome, Demon Catman. Sleeping Volcano, thank you for being here. God bless both of you. We appreciate you guys so much. It's awesome to have you guys here. It really is. Yes, I say that quite a bit, but I mean it from the heart. Okay? We really mean it. Jerry Hayes is here. Thank you for being here, Jerry. God bless you. Appreciate you guys. This is another, like I said, another edition of Emergency Management Associates. I also today purchased a new webcam. It's smaller in size with the video here, but it is HD quality video, meaning it is actually studio quality video. Okay, so you guys should be getting a very good picture of me, even though the video is smaller in size. But I want it to be that way. Okay, you can see me, you can hear me. You can also look behind us on our wall here. Right behind my head is our Emergency Management Associates sign here that I made a long time ago. It's on our wall announcing who we are. I've got a picture of Christ behind me as well. I've got a emergency management sign just above that. I've got several other plaques on the wall that are some awards that I've received. I've got things on the wall also that I've received gifts from you guys. One of them you can't see behind me over my left shoulder here is a plaque on the wall that says EMA. That EMA was taken from various license plates and put together as a plaque for me to show our show on, to have behind me to show our show here. And also, see that sign, the Red Cross kind of sign here? Another one of our viewers sent that to me. They made that by hand and made it for me especially so we could have that on our wall as well. Guys, I wanted to show these, and you've seen them in the past, but I want to make sure you recognize what they mean. Okay? Those are things that you all sent to me. I appreciate that greatly. I appreciate it greatly. Let me move this camera just a little bit right here. Okay. Okay. Right up there, you can see the EMA sign that someone made me out of a license plate. And on the outside, they put shells on the wall or around the plate sign as a border. You also see more awards that I received, or EMA sign there. You see some other things on the wall that I put here. And over here, again, is that EMA cross that I have as a logo, and somebody hand painted that for me as well. I want you to know how much that means to me. Okay? That means a great deal to me. I wanted to show it to you because you guys did it for me. The picture of Christ, I got, I think I got that from my parents a long time ago before they died. But I cherish that. I've got a picture of Christ that my son gave me down on the wall in our living room. I've got another picture of Christ in the bedroom. Okay? Those things are precious to me. Those things are very precious to me. Donna Howard is here. Welcome, Donna. God bless you for being here. Jacqueline is here. Jerry Hayes, as I said, is here. Kenny the Warrior is here. Gosh, we've got the gang here. Appreciate it, guys. I really mean that. You guys mean the world to me. Now, before we get started, we've been talking about Hurricane Katrina all week long because, not Hurricane Katrina, I'm sorry, Hurricane Erin. I have Katrina on the brain because I was asked about that in an interview on the radio earlier today, because I went to Katrina the day after Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. So I got there in the middle of rain and also in the middle of a mud storm. Literally, all that rain that dumped on New Orleans, we had to camp in. Unreal. We got a load of dirt thrown on top of the mud so we could pitch our tents in dry ground. Huge load of dirt from a dump truck dumped on that plot of land over in the 9th Ward in New Orleans. That's where we camped. We set up an emergency radio command post there where all the police could get information from us. We set up a dispatch center. I was one of the ones that helped deploy officers. We had officers from New Orleans Police. We had officers from the Federal Protective Service Police from all over the country, literally all over the country. I became very close friends of theirs during the 30 days that I was in New Orleans. It was a great experience. But this week, we talked about Hurricane Erin. Hurricane Erin hit North Carolina yesterday. I want to show you what happened yesterday at Kitty Hawk Beach. I tell everybody every day that we are here from the area command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. 392 miles west, okay? Well away from the beach. The only thing we got from the hurricane was the outer bands of the hurricane. Yes, we did get some storms. We did get some rain, but we did not get anything more than a light thunderstorm. We got no tornadoes. Some places here in North Carolina and upwards in Virginia got tornadoes as well. But here in Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina, I want to show you this. This is astounding. Watch the water here. This video shows the water hitting the roadway in Kitty Hawk Beach. The beginning of this video is the water hitting the roadway. Then it will take you out off on the beach and out in the water and showing you the wave breaker hitting the pier at Kitty Hawk Beach. Look at that huge wave, guys. When it hit the end of the pier there, it was 20 feet off the normal level of the sea. Look at that house being taken out into the ocean. Look at that, guys. Incredible, isn't it? Let's just play that for you one more time. Look at that 20-foot breaker there. That house is sitting on the bluff, sitting on top of a sand dune there on a bluff, and it was taken out in the storm. That was quite a storm, wasn't it? Okay, it just wasn't in Florida. It just wasn't in Georgia and South Carolina, here in North Carolina, and all the way up to New Jersey. Okay, now the storm is well out to sea, and actually it's headed for England first, and then it's going to steer over into Iceland. By then, it will be a tropical depression, and it won't do much of anything but stir a little bit of high seas, and that's all. Does anybody have any questions about anything you saw there from that video? It kind of explains itself, doesn't it? Jacqueline says her dad is at Surfside Beach, South Carolina. We showed a clip from Surfside Beach last night. Rebecca says, my family is at Oracoke, said they had no flooding in their area. Thank God. Ferry is running. Visitors will be allowed back at 9 a.m. tomorrow. That's true. Okay. Some of the people over on the islands, the barrier islands, which is offshore from the mainland. Okay. Some of those visitors and families will be able to return to their homes tomorrow morning. Okay. They're trying to get Highway 12, which is the coastal highway, out to the islands there. They're trying to get that open because it had a lot of overwash, had ocean waters going over the highway. They tried to build up a sand dune to protect the highway, but it didn't work. Okay, so they're trying to repair the highway so traffic can get it in and out of the islands. Yes, they also had ferry service, but because of the high seas, the ferries were not running. Hopefully by tomorrow morning, the sea levels will try to return somewhat to normal so they can get the ferries in and out of the harbors and over to the islands. Okay? So far, right now, we have no hurricane problems. Starting next week, we have another storm that's probably going to be a nothing burger, but it's coming off the central Atlantic, and we'll kind of watch it starting up Monday or Tuesday next week. Probably a nothing burger. The storm after that could be something else. We don't know. Okay? The storm after that will probably not even become a concern until Wednesday or Thursday of next week. Okay? That's what the story is. Any questions? Rebecca says only residents are allowed back before tomorrow. That's good. Hurricane Heather's here. Welcome, Hurricane Heather. Appreciate you much. Really do. Does anybody have any questions about the video I just showed you from Hurricane Erin? Cassandra Goss is here from Dallas, Texas. I've got wonderful, wonderful friends from Dallas, Texas as well. And for those of you that don't already know, I've done disaster drills literally around this country. I've done preparedness talks literally around this country. I spent a great deal of time in Dallas, Texas as well, doing preparedness talks and doing a disaster drill using the baseball stadium in Dallas. Okay? Or was it the football? I think it was a football stadium in Dallas, Texas. In Houston, we used the Houston Astros stadium there. And when we went to the A&M campus there in Texas, we were at Disaster City. So I've spent a great deal of time doing emergency preparedness drills in Texas. I love Texas. Like I said, I have a lot of friends there that I've worked with, and I have very dear friends all over Texas. Texas is a great state. P. Fox says he's glad they don't get hurricanes in Minnesota. Well, guess what? I'm sorry, P. Coe, not Fox. P. Coe said they're glad they don't get hurricanes in Minnesota. But you guys get horrible blizzards there as well. In the wintertime, you get these blizzards that don't even compare to the hurricanes. In the wintertime, folks, in North Dakota, even South Dakota, Minnesota, Michigan, they get these 3-day or longer blizzards there with winds upwards of 60 miles per hour, blowing snow and ice. I have been out there plowing driveways with my father's snowblower when the winds are howling 30, 45, 50 miles per hour, and I was blowing snow to get people back into their driveways, into their homes. I was out there with snowblower and getting pelted with ice crystals and wind, just pelting my skin. I ended up finally buying a ski mask to protect my face. It's incredible. I wore sunglasses out there to protect my eyes. It's unreal what that blowing snow and ice can do in the wintertime. Been there, done that. We used to live in the Fargo-Moorhead area. I lived on both sides of the Red River of the north there. We lived in Moorhead for about a year, and we lived in Fargo for the next 4.5 years after that. But we commuted back and forth between Moorhead and Fargo all the time because we had friends in both cities. I went up to Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. I spent some time in Minneapolis. I spent some other times visiting different places in Minnesota, and even got up to Detroit, Michigan. Incredible place. Incredible place. Rebecca the Explorer said she didn't have it too bad where she lived here in North Carolina, only a few storms. That's basically the same story that I have here in Morganton, North Carolina. Okay? That it was a great experience, okay? This is such a different experience than what we had last September when we had Hurricane Helene blow through here with 60, 65 miles per hour winds and tons of rain and tons of flooding. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Okay? Anyway, let's get on with this program. Okay, I want to show you something else. Actually, before that. Okay? Right here is a picture of our sun. Okay? The night before last, we got hit with a solar flare, a major solar flare. It didn't hit the Earth, though. Okay? It was out in space. It was on the opposite side of the sun from us. Okay? But it was a huge explosion. Huge, huge explosion. Let me show you this here. Look at that. That's just part of it. Now, I couldn't get the video of the explosion on the sun. Like I said, it was on the backside of the sun, but there is a video out there at spaceweather.com. But guys, it's an amazing thing. Huge, huge flare. Now, why am I talking about it? Guess what it caused? Can anybody tell me what this solar flare caused? It caused a major earthquake last night. It caused a major earthquake last night. A 7.5 magnitude quake hit off the southern tip of Argentina, okay, over there on the Antarctic ridge. On the Antarctic ridge, okay. This was a massive major earthquake. 7.5 major earthquake. You see another earthquake just to the northwest? That is a 4.5 aftershock. There were many, many aftershocks from this quake, okay? But this 7.5 earthquake hit. Now, I had several people that I know that I've been friends with over the years that said, oh no, Ron, that was a 6.9. No, it wasn't. I have documentation of it. I have a lot of documentation on this quake. First off, let me show you something else here. I thought I had this slide already loaded, but I guess I didn't. I'll get it here. Okay, this is the backside seismologist study page from the USGS. Okay, this is information that everybody ought to know about. Okay, I take a lot of information from the USGS to show what they don't do and they don't do. Okay, again, this was a major 7.5 earthquake. Okay, south in the Drake, southern part of the Drake Passage, south of Argentina on the Antarctic ridge. Okay, on the Antarctic ridge. Let's go and take a look at this, okay? I'm trying to get to the middle of this slide here so I can actually show you some data here, okay? Here they have it as a 6.8. How they have it as a 6.8, I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm going over here to the right showing magnitudes, okay? Look what we see here. 6.44, 7.31, 6.93, 6.79. Now that would probably be a 6.8 there, but this doesn't stop here. Here's a 6.5. There is a 7.02. Okay, here's a 6.92 here. 6.84, 7.07, 7.03, 6.76. Here is a 6.66. Here's a 6.82. Here's a 6.87. Here's another 7.17. Here's a 6.34. Here's a 6.79. This is a 6.73. This is a 6.91 here. Here's a 6.76. Here's a 6.51. Here is a 6.67. Here's a 6.92. Here's another 7.15, a 7.06, 7.04, 6.9, 6.44, 7.05, 6.6, 6.82, 7.0, 6.56, 6.98, 6.74, 7.48. Now this is just a handful of earthquake seismographs that we're giving these data. Okay, this is only a handful of the hundreds of seismographs that were all over around this area, both onshore and offshore, both on the Antarctic and on the Antarctic plate, on the ice, and in the water. Seismographs reporting the data. This shows a 7.48. There's quite a few other data sheets showing these kinds of quakes. This was not a 6.8. It wasn't a 6.5. It wasn't a 6.7. This was at least a 7.4 earthquake. A 7.4 earthquake, guys. Okay? I want to make sure everybody understands that. This was not your average earthquake. They have it listed on the USGS map as a 7.5 earthquake. Okay, 7.5 earthquake. Why would they then show 6.6s, 6.7s? Because they don't want to take responsibility to show a major quake. That's why they downgraded the evidence almost immediately after it came out. They downgraded it. And after I pulled this slide here from their own data sheet, they also downgraded it some more. Again, they don't want to take responsibility for anything. Not a thing. Sad. Sad. But I've got some more data to show you as well. Wait till you see this. Wait till you see what I have to show you now. These are helioplots. Okay, this is a separate instance from just seeing the magnitude shown on a spreadsheet. These are actual graphs of the earthquake energy. Earthquake energy here. The upper lines here you see are actual magnitudes of earthquake. Okay, epicenters. Look at all these epicenters here. This particular graph, guys, is very important to see. Why? Why do you think it's important? This particular helioplot comes from the Antarctic Ridge at Palmer Station, Antarctica. This is the closest station to the earthquake. This shows you the energy here. No, the seismic or the helioplot here is not completely blacked out. To start having a complete blackout takes at least an 8.05 to a 9.0 earthquake. An 8.5 to a 9.0 earthquake to have it completely, almost or completely blacked out. This was a 7.5 earthquake. Again, this particular seismogram, or helioplot, I should say, this is not a seismogram, this is a helioplot. Two different things. This site or helioplot comes from the Antarctic Ridge at Palmer Station. Okay, let me show you another one here. This comes from the opposite side of the world, Outpost, Alaska. Halfway around the world, Outpost, Alaska. Here it's not quite so blacked out, isn't it? That's because it's on the other side of the world. Okay, but look at the epicenters here. Still showing the same amount of quakes, but it's not as significant. Not as significant. Let me show you another one here. This particular helioplot comes from Disney World over Disney Wilderness Preserve over in Florida. Look at this. This is still showing a lot of activity, showing the earthquake at Drake Passage. Okay, another one here. This helioplot comes from Kiev, Ukraine. This was still a 7.5 earthquake. This helioplot comes from Australia, Narrogin, Australia. This is fairly close to where it was, except this is over about 2,000 or 3,000 miles west of where this earthquake occurred. Let me show you another one here. This helioplot comes from Massachusetts. This helioplot is at Oak Ridge, Massachusetts. This gives you a good idea of the power of this earthquake, the intensity and magnitude of this earthquake. And again, from Palmer, Alaska here. Now, why did this earthquake hit again? Okay, we had a solar flare. We had a solar flare before the major earthquake hit just southeast of Kamchatka Peninsula over in Russia, didn't we? Solar energy, solar plasma radiation penetrates through our magnetosphere, penetrates through the magnetosphere, through our atmosphere, and down into the earth. It heats up the faults. It heats up the plates. Heats up the plates. When it heats up the plates or faults, all that friction that's held those plates and faults together like this becomes more fluid. All the gunk and grime, all the sand, the dirt, the rock, the biological material turns to an oily, greasy-like substance. When that happens, it makes the faults and also the plates more easily moved. Okay? When that happens, we get earthquakes. This is exactly what happened over at Kamchatka Peninsula. This is what has happened down here in Antarctica. This is what's happened over in Burma, over in Southeast Asia, otherwise known as Myanmar. Remember that earthquake? That 7.4 earthquake? It's still shaking today. Every time we have one of these solar flares and or a planetary alignment, then we have major earthquakes. It's happening time and time again. Let me show you Burma today. This is important too. Let me show you what happened in Burma today. This is incredible. Over in Burma here, we had a 5.3 earthquake. A large 5.3 earthquake. Look where it's at. Look where this earthquake is at, guys. Let me enlarge this so you can see it. Look where this earthquake is at, a 5.3 large earthquake. Right on the edge of the plate. Right smack dab on the edge of the plate. This plate comes out of Indonesia. Comes up from Indonesia through the Indian Ocean, up here into Southeast Asia, Thailand, over here into Burma as well. That's why we have these earthquakes. Now this is a 5.3 earthquake. It's also an aftershock. This 5.3 is an aftershock of the 7.4 earthquake that hit here several months ago, earlier this year. These major earthquakes continue to have aftershocks for weeks, months, and even years afterwards. This is what's going to happen here in Burma. This is what's going to happen down at the Drake Passage. If you remember what we had here at the Drake Passage earlier this year, just a couple month or so ago. We had a 7.8, 8.4 earthquake. We reported on that, didn't we? Now we are continuing to see earthquakes down here in the Drake Passage. It's going to continue to happen. It's going to continue to happen. In this case, this seismic energy, this 5.3 earthquake came out of Indonesia, and now it's going to go up into India and up into the Himalaya Mountains. Unreal. It's not going to stop. Energy moves. Energy moves, guys. Energy moves. Rich is talking about a 5.9, 4.0, or I mean, not 5.9, 4.9, 5.0 earthquake in Argentina. That 4.9, 5.0 earthquake in Argentina that Rich is showing you here on the chat is actually an aftershock of this huge earthquake we had last night. Okay? It's going to continue to happen. Rich is also showing a 2.8 earthquake over in Puerto Rico. That 2.8 earthquake over in Puerto Rico is a different story. We talked about this before. Why do you think we had this earthquake in Puerto Rico today? Let's bring up the USGS map for a minute. Okay, I'm going to take down my pretty picture here. I'm going to take down our EMA banner so we can show you what's happening around the world with these earthquakes. Now I'm going to remove the barrier here. I'm showing you these earthquakes here over in the Kamchatka Peninsula region. We're still having earthquakes here. Several weeks after the 8.4 earthquake that hit here, and I believe was actually larger, or 8.8 earthquake, that was actually a 9.4 earthquake. 8.8 earthquake was a 9.4 earthquake, and we're having earthquakes today. This is a 5.0 earthquake off the southeast coast of Kamchatka Peninsula, a large 5.0. We've also had our share of 4-pointers. This is a 4.8 moderate earthquake as well. This one right next to the 5 is a 4.6 moderate earthquake here. South of the 5.0 is a 4.8 earthquake here. South of there, over here, just south of the point of Kamchatka Peninsula, is also a 4.5 earthquake here. This is a 5.0 earthquake here. So we had two 5.0 earthquakes off the Kamchatka Peninsula today. So we're having large aftershocks there. Large aftershocks. Over here, just off the coast of Sendai, Honshu, Japan. Look at this. Watch this. This is a 5.7 earthquake here. This happened yesterday evening. This happened at 6:45 p.m. last night. 5.7 earthquake off of Ofunado, Japan. 5.7 very large earthquake. 32 miles off the shore. This was a very large earthquake. The people here on the coastline, the people living here on the coastline felt part of this earthquake. Yes, the Pacific Ocean waters absorbed some part of the seismic energy here. The Pacific Ocean waters absorbed part of the earthquake energy here, but not all of it. Okay, it was very close to shore, 32 miles offshore, and the people here felt that earthquake. They probably felt a 5.2, 5.3 large shaking. The people here in Japan are used to earthquakes. They are more prepared for earthquakes than almost anywhere else in the world. 5.7 earthquake off of northern Honshu, Japan today, or yesterday evening, and also this 4.5 earthquake after that. Okay, this happened shortly after 7 p.m. This aftershock hit shortly after 7 p.m. last night. Okay, let's go further south here. Now I see they are not showing any other earthquakes in Japan. That's a fallacy. There are earthquakes there. Over here in Taiwan, look at this. Southeastern Taiwan near Tainan City. This is a 5.2 large earthquake. 5.2 large earthquake, 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. They felt this earthquake. This was a large earthquake here, 5.2 large earthquake, and it was in a semi-populated area as well. Look at that. Semi-populated area, it's more rural than not, but it's semi-populated area here. People felt this earthquake. They felt it big time. Okay, let's keep going here. Now, this is the Philippines. Luzon Island, Philippines, where Manila, Philippines is. Let's go down here to the southern part of the Philippines over here to Mindanao, Philippines. Mindanao, Philippine Island here. This again is over on the eastern coastline here near, this is near San Luis, Philippines. This is a 4.8 moderate quake. This is also 90 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. Okay, people felt this earthquake. People living anywhere near this earthquake felt this earthquake. It was on land. Moderate earthquake. Moderate earthquake, moderate shaking. Possibly moderate damage as well. Okay, let's go south here. Look at this. They're not showing one dadgum earthquake here in Indonesia. Not one. Why not? This is stupidity. There's 32 earthquakes here in Indonesia today. 32 earthquakes, not showing one of them. Not a cotton picking one of them. Over here in Burma, they're still showing the 5.3 earthquake here. There are other earthquakes here as well. Okay, let's go up here. Over here to northern India, we have another earthquake over here in the Himalaya Mountains. This is a 5.0 earthquake here. They're not showing this one either. They took it down. It happened early this morning. They took it down by now. Sad. This is just another example of USGS not wanting to admit what's going on. Let's go over here to Western Turkey. Earthquakes all over northern Turkey, all over western Turkey, and eastern Turkey as well. Over here in eastern Turkey, we have tons of earthquakes here. I believe we have 42 earthquakes here in eastern Turkey. Why? Because here, February 3rd, 2023, we had a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake here. It unalived over 5,000 people, where 5,000 other people were injured, and many people left homeless. That was a major earthquake. It also left a great big, huge fissure in the ground. I believe it was a 12, if I'm not mistaken, it was a 12-mile long fissure that was 8 stories deep after a major earthquake. Today, we're still having aftershocks from that quake. USGS, again, has not shown them all. They never will. Not shown any of them. Earthquakes over here in northern Turkey, southern Turkey, central Turkey, over here in western Turkey, where they're only showing one earthquake. What a joke. This particular earthquake is a 4.3 moderate earthquake. There are quite a few 4s here. There are quite a few 3s. There are 3.0, 3.9 are small quakes. 4.0, 4.9 are moderate earthquakes. We also have some 2.0, 2.9, and we also have some 1.0 to 1.7 here, which are tremors. 1.0, 1.9 are tremors. Lots of them. They're not showing them, are they? Earthquakes all over the Aegean Sea here. Literally all over the Aegean Sea. Why do we have them here? Because, folks, there's magma down here under the ocean here. Magma trying to find a way here through the bedrock to erupt. Whether it is going to go to a volcano here that's already there at one of the islands, or another volcano eruption here, which would make an island here, somewhere out here in the Aegean Sea. It's a possibility. But the Aegean Sea still is rocking here in the central of the ocean, central part of this ocean here. Now, I have friends of mine that have spent some time earlier this week here in Santorini. Now, what happened early this year in Santorini? Santorini started having 4.5, 3.9, 4.8, 4.7 earthquakes. Guess what? They thought Santorini was going to erupt again. Right here in the middle of this harbor. Right here in the middle of this harbor is the underwater summit of the volcano. Underwater summit of the volcano. This harbor exists only because the summit of the volcano blew out during an eruption. That's why we have a harbor here. It can happen again. We also have had several vents over here to the west. Several volcanic vents out here to the west. Yes, they were steaming. They were steaming. And again, the authorities from Greece thought Santorini was going to erupt again. It hasn't. All the earthquakes now have gone to the north out here into the Aegean Sea. That's where they mostly are now. Could an eruption still happen at Santorini? Yes. Or around any of these other islands. Each one of these islands and the islands around the world were made by volcanic action. That's why they exist today. Okay? There are earthquakes down here near Crete, Greece. Earthquakes all around mainland Greece here. Southern Greece and to the north of Greece as well. 1.0s to 2.8, 2.9, and I believe we even had a 3.7 earthquake here in Greece today. They'll never show it. Not showing any of them, which is very irresponsible of the preeminent seismic agency of the world. Yet this agency says nothing. We have earthquakes over here in northern Sicily here, over here in the toe of the boot of Italy here, some minor tremors and minor earthquakes there, and up here near Naples. Right over here near Naples, we have another volcano. Guess what? Vesuvius volcano is looking to erupt. We're having earthquakes here, but USGS doesn't want to show them to us. You have to go over the Italian agency to see any of them. Most of the earthquakes here are now tremors, but occasionally we still will see a 2.5, 2.7 minor earthquake, and also 3.0, 3.9. We've even had a 4.5 earthquake here earlier this week. Again, the Vesuvius volcano is showing signs that it might still erupt. And every time we get any kind of earthquake, 3.0 and over, people get worried. They feel these terrible shaking going on, and they get worried. They start going out and living in their cars just in case they have to start their car to get away from the volcano. Yeah, what a thing to live with. Yes, there are people who live on all sides of the volcano. Okay, over here to the northeast, southeast here, southern part of Italy here, around the volcano, over here to the north as well. Huge urbanized area now. When Vesuvius last erupted, hardly anybody lived here. Hardly anybody lived here. It was part of the Roman Empire here. Now it's a heavily populated area. When Vesuvius volcano finally erupts, who knows what's going to happen? But it's going to erupt at some point in time. Let's go over here in central Italy here. North central Italy here. We have a group of earthquakes here. There are 24 earthquakes here in north central Italy here. whole swarm of earthquakes. These swarms of the swarms of earthquakes have been happening here for over a year. And during that year, we've had a 5.0 earthquake over here on the northern shore, north central shore of Italy. 5.0 earthquake, and I believe we're still going to see another 5 or larger here because the swarms are continuing and they're getting to be even larger earthquakes and more earthquakes as well. Earlier this week, we had nearly 60 earthquakes here in central Italy here. Okay, up here in the north. Okay, in the Southern Alps here in Italy, 1.0, 1.7 earthquakes. Down here to the south, the same thing. In the Alps region here, mountainous region of the Alps, we've had 1.1, 1.2, and even 2.3 earthquakes here. Over here to the north, the same thing here in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, 1.1 to 3.2 earthquakes. Over in France, we've had a number of 2.0s, 2.5s, even 2.7 minor earthquakes here in France. Yes, we've had as much as 3.7, 3.8 earthquakes here in France as well. Okay, a lot of earthquakes. Does USGS show it? Rarely. Rarely. Down here at the border between France and Spain, 2 earthquakes. One earthquake right here, it's a 1.7 tremor here, and one earthquake up here further to the northwest here, right here. This is the 2.0 earthquake here. Again, USGS is not showing them, are they? We have earthquakes over here in southern Spain as well. Mostly 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3 earthquakes here. Going over here to northern Spain near Portugal, 1.7, 1.2, and 2.0 earthquakes up here at the border region of Portugal and Spain. Down here to the south here near Portugal, 2.2 and 2.0 earthquakes here, and offshore in the Azore Islands, 2.7, 2.8, and 3.0 earthquakes hitting here. Incredible. Again, USGS not showing them. Why not? Why not? They're happening. We've had earthquakes down here in the Canary Islands as well. Most of these have been 1.2 and 1.7 earthquakes. Let's go over here to the central part of the North Atlantic Ocean. This is where we have a hurricane moving in this area. In the North Atlantic here, we have a 4.6 moderate earthquake here. They're continuing to happen, aren't they? This energy here, this seismic energy here, came from down here in the central part of the Atlantic Ocean earlier this week. Okay, now over here is South America really quickly. You see this major earthquake hit here last night. Look at the aftershocks here. They're not showing anywhere near the aftershocks. They're like 12 aftershocks here. They're showing 3 here and 1 more to the north up here, or 2 more to the north up here. What a joke. What a joke. This one is a 5.0 here. This one is a 5.0, and this one here is another 5.1. South of the Drake Passage here on and near the Antarctic Ridge. To the north here, closer to Argentina, we have a 4.8 moderate earthquake here, and right here we have a 4.7. Now, why is this important? These earthquakes here, these are moderate earthquakes. Moderate earthquakes. They're 180 miles southeast of Ushuaia, Argentina. I know I'm butchering that. Ushuaia, Argentina. This island area here are outcroppings of rock. Yes, people live there. Only a handful of people live here. Most of the people live here on these islands have felt these earthquakes before. Okay? They're mostly here on these islands to help protect mariners that are out here in boats, to make sure they don't hit on the rocks here near the islands. That's why they live here. Most of their income comes from fishing in this area. Most of the time, it's very hilly in these areas on the islands. Also, very, very cold. Very, very cold here. Okay, now let's go north here. Over in south central Chile, Ancud, Chile here, offshore. This is a 4.4 earthquake, 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. North central Chile in the Andes Mountains here. This is over on the east side of the Andes Mountains near Argentina. This is 24 miles north of San Agustin de Valle, Fairfield, Argentina. A 5.0 earthquake here. 5.0 earthquake just happened. Just happened today. Just a little while ago. This earthquake up here in the north is 21 miles northwest of San Antonio de los Cobres, Argentina. This one is at the border region of Argentina and Chile here in the Andes Mountains. Look where it's at. Look where it's at. Volcanoes here. Volcanoes all over this hillside in the Andes Mountains. Volcanoes everywhere. This earthquake here is a 4.5, probably due to magma beneath the surface. Magma beneath the surface here in the Andes Mountains. Volcanoes all over the Andes Mountains here. All over. Over here in Peru. This is in Cuyo, Peru. A 4.4 earthquake, 60.5 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. There's more earthquakes here in Chile and Peru and going over here in the northern Colombia as well. But they're not showing them. Why not? Why not? They're showing one earthquake up here in Central America. San Jose, Costa Rica. This is a 3.8 earthquake, but they're not showing all the other threes as well. 3.4, 3.6, 3.8, all over here in Costa Rica. They're not showing any earthquakes here in Managua, Nicaragua. They're not showing any earthquakes in San Salvador or over here in Guatemala. Why not? We have volcanoes over in Guatemala. Why are they not showing those? Some of those volcanoes, I think two out of 3 volcanoes here in Guatemala are erupting. El Fuego is one of them. Okay? From there over here into southern Mexico. From down here at the Guatemala border, all the way up here to Puerto Vallarta. 42 earthquakes here. Not showing one of them. Why not? Why not? Pretty soon we're going to see a 7.0 earthquake, I believe, here near Mexico City. 7.0 earthquake here in Mexico City very soon. That's a major earthquake. It's been a while since they've had an earthquake here. I believe it's going to happen because there are quite a few earthquakes here. Huge swarm of earthquakes here in southern Mexico. We go north. Yes, we have earthquakes here in northern Mexico. We have earthquakes here on the Baja. They're not showing up. Why not? Over here at the border area, U.S. border area with Mexico. Guess what? This is a 1.2 minor tremor here. 9 miles southeast of Ocotillo, California. Over here in the northern part, I shouldn't say northern part, the southern part of the Imperial Valley. Westmoreland, California. Westmoreland, California, guys, this is a 2.3 earthquake here. Why are they calling it Westmoreland? They disconnected or turned off the Westmoreland seismograph. Or they are not showing it to us anymore. A 2.3 minor earthquake here and over here in Calipatria, just here to the northeast. 120 earthquakes here in Calipatria. 120 earthquakes here in Calipatria. Westmoreland is having more than just a 2.3 here. When we have the seismogram here showing Westmoreland, we usually had at least 3 or 4 3.0 earthquakes. We had probably a dozen or 2 dozen minor earthquakes such as this 2.3. We had 2 or 3 dozen tremors as well as a bunch of minor microquakes as well. Still, they're not showing all the earthquakes, are they? Never. Never happened. Probably never will again. Because again, the USGS does not want to take any kind of comeuppance because they're not showing the information. Down here in the town of Imperial here. Down here in the town of Imperial here. Okay, here in Imperial we have several 3.0 earthquakes, and they're not showing any minor earthquakes or tremors here at all. Why not? Down here in El Centro, one of our own here, EMA family members named Juanito. He and his wife and children live here in El Centro. 28 3.0 earthquakes here in El Centro. There's probably 2 or 3 dozen minor tremors as well, and 2 or 3 dozen minor earthquakes 2.0 to 2.9. Why are they not showing them? Over 500 earthquakes a day hit the Imperial Valley. 500 earthquakes a day hit the Imperial Valley. Yet they're showing 2 earthquakes here. Going up here over on the northeast side, I shouldn't say northeast side, central east side of the Salton Sea. Guess what? We have a town called Bombay Beach, more of a ghost town than anything. There is a coffee shop opened up. There is a small, tiny restaurant. I'm talking tiny. The only people they serve here at this restaurant are people that tourists to come down here and feel the earthquakes. Today we've had probably 10 3.5, 4.0 earthquakes here in Bombay Beach. That's a lot of earthquake energy, right? But it's not just 3.0, 3.5 energy. We may even have some 4.0 energy here as well. Every day, not just today. As I said, 500 plus earthquakes a day hit here in the Imperial Valley. But USGS is not showing them, are they? They're not showing any earthquakes over here near Salton City. Right up here is Salton City here. Not showing them. Why not? They're not showing any earthquakes here near Ocotillo. None. There are earthquakes here. They're showing 1 earthquake over here in Borrego Springs. Borrego Springs is part of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park in northeast San Diego County. This is a 2.2 earthquake. Over here to the west, Lake Henshaw, just northeast of Escondido, California. This is a 1.2 tremor. Here you see another red earthquake. Red means it just happened. This is a 1.0 tremor over here in the Anza Gap area, Anza Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County. Okay? This is near the San Jacinto Fault. All these earthquakes here, this 0.8 microquake here, this 0.8 microquake here, this 0.6 microquake, and this 1.0 tremor are all part of the San Jacinto Fault here in northeast San Diego County. Going up here to the north, the foothills of the San Bernardino Mountains. Idlewild. This is 7 miles south-southwest of Idlewild. Interesting. What is Idlewild? It's a small mountainous town here in the San Bernardino Mountains. Earthquakes. It's on the San Andreas Fault. Or I'm not saying I didn't say. I should not have said San Andreas. This is on the San Jacinto Fault. 0.6 here and a 0.9 1.0 tremor here in Idlewild, California. Up here to the northeast. Okay. Again, this is Thousand Palms, California. This is a 0.6 microquake here. It is just barely west of the San Andreas Fault. Just barely west of the San Andreas Fault here. Okay? Yes, we have earthquakes up here. Lots of earthquakes up here. This is Beaumont, California. Again, this is over here near the San Andreas Fault. 0.7 microquake here. To the north here, this is near Mentone, California. 0.8 microquake here. This is Highland, California. Populated area. 1.3 tremor here. Tremors you're not going to feel. People don't feel them, but they're not showing any earthquakes at all. They're showing tremors. Nothing above a 1.7, 1.8. Heaven forbid. We are having 3.0 earthquakes here as well. They're just not showing them. Right here, Muscogee, California, 1.0 tremor here. We have earthquakes all over Los Angeles County. They're not showing a single one here. We showed you earthquakes here earlier this week, all over this area. Let's go north of Los Angeles up here. This is Grapevine, California. Grapevine, California, we have Interstate 15 up here. Interstate 15 coming up here in northern Los Angeles. This is a 2.2 minor earthquake. Right here is a 1.1 tremor here. 2.2 minor earthquake, minor earthquake. Further north up here, Bakersfield. 0.3 microquake here. 1.7 here in Tehachapi. We go up here to the east, Bonefish, California. What do we have here in Bonefish? Volcanic rock. This is a volcanic field. This 1.1 tremor was magma beneath the ground. Magma beneath the ground. Let's go up here to the north. Another earthquake just happened. Wolford Heights, California. It's along the Walker Lane Fault. Remember the Walker Lane Fault? 2.5 years ago, we had a 6.7 earthquake up here. Yeah, big time. Walker Lane Fault is going to come completely to pieces. Walker Lane Fault is going to come completely to pieces. What is going to happen? See the San Andreas Fault down here? Salton Sea? See the California, Gulf of California here? There's going to be a major earthquake at some point in time. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how bad it's going to get, except this whole area will become underwater. This whole area will become underwater. The water is going to extend all the way up here. All the way up here, guys. All the way up here. The Walker Lane Fault stretches from the Gulf of California all the way up here. Literally all the way up here. All the way up here to Pyramid Lake. Pyramid Lake. A volcano. The Walker Lane Fault reaches up here. At some point in time, this whole area will be covered in water. It'll be an inland waterway. It'll become an inland waterway. Meantime, right here, we have Aurora Borealis craters. They're not showing anything happening here, but there are tremors and minor earthquakes here at Aurora Borealis craters. Again, it's a volcanic field. Over here to the west, Mono Lake. Mono Lake is another volcano. See this island right here? This island is the summit of the volcano. It's active. They're not showing any earthquakes because they don't want us to see them. Terrible. Terrible. We have a super volcano just north of here, but they don't want to talk about it. Heaven forbid they don't want to talk about it. Incredible. Incredible irresponsibility is what I'm going to call it. Now I'm going over here to the southeast of Mount Monterey Bay here, along the San Andreas Fault. Ridgemark, California, on the San Andreas Fault. We have a 2.1 earthquake here. Just south there in the Pinnacles, we have a 1.5 tremor here. 1.5 tremor and a 2.1 earthquake here on the San Andreas Fault. Let's go up here to the north. 100 miles north of San Francisco Bay. What do we have? Middletown, California. 1.6 tremor. We have earthquakes all throughout this area, guys. There are nearly 40 earthquakes here in the geysers area. Nearly 40 earthquakes here in Sonoma County, California. Why? Because this is a geothermal area. Men have dug into the upper magma chambers of this volcano right here, the Clear Lake volcano. They drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano to obtain steam, to power turbines here in the geysers facility, to generate electricity. That's why we have these earthquakes here today. One earthquake here is a 1.5 tremor here. There are tremors and minor earthquakes here all day long. We have microquakes here as well. For example, this earthquake is a 0.7 microquake here. This earthquake here to the south is a 0.7. All in the geysers facility here. All over the hillsides and mountains here at Sonoma, California, to generate electricity. Look here, just south of these earthquakes here. Here is one of the turbine areas here. Right up here, just south of the drill points, this area looks like a sideways triangle here are drill points. Okay, drill points, where they drilled into the upper magma chambers of the volcano to obtain steam. Then along the roadways here, coming out of the drill points, along the sides of the roadways are PVC pipe carrying steam down here to the turbines, to power the turbines to generate electricity here. There are 81 turbines in this facility, all over the Sonoma County, California here, all over the mountains here. 81 turbines here generating electricity for Pacific Gas and Electric, Rocky Mountain Power, Southern California Edison, and I believe one other energy conglomerate. Incredible. Incredible. They usually have anywhere from 20 to 50 to 100 earthquakes like we saw earlier this week. 100 earthquakes here in the Sonoma Hills. Amazing. Simply amazing. Now I'm going to go up here to the Cascadia region, the Cascadia subduction zone region, down here to the south, near the Triple Junction here, on the Gorda Escarpment. 2.0 earthquake here off the coast of Petrolia, California. 2.0 earthquake. This is the southern part of the Cascadia subduction zone region. Incredible, huh? They're not showing any more earthquakes here in Oregon. Why not? Why not? There are a lot of earthquakes here in Oregon. There are volcanoes that are also exhibiting signs of a possible eruption. Okay? They're not showing anything here at all. At Mount St. Helens, Mount Adams, or even up here at Mount Rainier. Southwest of Mount Rainier here, we have a 0.3 microquake. Down here to the south, a 1.7 tremor. Up here to the north, northwest of Mount Rainier, another 1.5 tremor. This is Carbonado, Washington, in the foothills of Mount Rainier. Guys, I'm going to show you a seismograph here. It's going to show you a lot more than a 1.5 tremor. I'm going to show you seismographs here at Mount Rainier that are going to show you a lot of activity. They're not showing you because they, again, don't want you to see what's happening. They don't want you to know that Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens, and to some extent even Mount Hood, are getting ready to erupt. Up here to the west, okay, the Olympic Peninsula here. This is a 1.7 tremor here near Aberdeen Gardens, Washington. 6 miles northwest of Aberdeen Gardens, Washington. Up here to the north, on the east side of the Puget Sound. This is a 2.4 minor earthquake here near Vernon, Washington. Near Vernon, Washington, if not in Vernon, Washington. They say it's 1 mile east-southeast of Vernon. It's in Vernon, Washington. Okay. This is a 1.0 tremor here. 4 miles northwest of Cedar-Woolley, Washington. Right on the coastline. Right on the coastline. Out here near the water here, we have Friday Harbor. Yes, there are earthquakes here at Friday Harbor. Earthquakes all over this area, all over the Strait of Juan de Fuca here, all over the Puget Sound area, up and down the coastline of Washington and Oregon. But heaven forbid we hear about it, because they don't want us to know. Heaven forbid they don't want us to know anything, because there's a major earthquake coming. The Cascadia magnitude earthquake here, Cascadia subduction zone. There's going to be a 9.0 to 10.0 earthquake happen off the coastline, probably within the next 5 years. Which is very interesting. 1700, there was a mirror off the coast here. After the Cascadia earthquake hit, he saw heavy seas. He saw a tsunami. He also saw either Glacier Peak or Mount Rainier erupting. 1700. Interesting. 1811. 1811 down here on the New Mountain Fault. We had an 8.0 earthquake here. They said it was a 7.1, but now the scientists are saying this was a 8.0 large earthquake. We're about to have another one here. We're about to have another earthquake here any day now. I've been saying maybe 2 years from now. The seismic energy is increasing here on the New Mountain Fault. I showed you a lot of earthquakes here on the New Mountain yesterday. They're still happening. Okay, over here. This Huxley, Texas. This is the 3.2 earthquake. Right smack dab on the New Mountain here, Crothersville, Missouri, in the center of the New Mountain Fault. This is a 2.3 earthquake. Yesterday I showed you 2.0s, 2.3s, 2.5s, 3.0s, 3.5 earthquakes here on the New Mountain Fault. The magnitudes of earthquakes are increasing here. They are increasing. Okay? This fault is going to pop probably before 2 years from now. Major earthquake. We talked about this before. It's about to happen. It's about to happen. I'm telling you, everybody needs to prepare. You need to prepare and prepare right now. Let's show you some earthquakes over at the volcanoes in the Pacific Northwest in Washington. In fact, I'm going to show you Mount Hood as well. Okay, let me take this map of the United States down here in the USGS. Okay, let's go over and show you earthquakes in Washington and Oregon at the volcanoes. Everybody needs to realize what's happening. Now, I'm not going to spend a great deal of time with these volcanoes, but I am going to show you the seismic energy here because you deserve to know that these volcanoes are going to erupt. Okay? They're going to erupt whether anybody's ready for it or not. Let's go over to, first off, let's stop here in the north, up here at Mount Rainier. Camp Sherman. Camp Sherman. We've been showing you earthquakes here at Mount Rainier for quite some time. Camp Sherman, look at all these earthquakes. It's not settling down. It's not settling down at all. You are seeing tremors here. These small dots here are tremors. You're also seeing some minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes such as this one here I'm going to show you here over on the left-hand side after 4:15 this morning, actually 4 o'clock this morning, 4:01 this morning. This is a 2.2 earthquake. Just above it on the blue line here, this is after 12:30 this morning. That is a 2.93.0 earthquake. Mount Rainier. Why are they not showing it on the map? Why are they not showing it on the map? There are quite a few other moderate minor earthquakes here as well. See these minor earthquakes here all over. But you also see this black image here. This is what they call a magma churn signal. A magma churn signal. Magma churn signals happen when there is superheated magma inside the volcano. Magma churn signals are typically 23 to 24 lines high. What we're seeing here, we know that the magma churn signals should be 23 to 24 lines high, so we know how much the seismograph has been turned down. The seismologist turned the seismograph down, so we're not going to see the earthquakes. We're not going to see the true extent of the magnitude of the earthquakes. Let's count this here, this line here, this line height. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lines high. That means this seismograph has been turned down to only show 30% of real world. 30% of real world, guys, unreal. What does it mean? What does it mean to have only showing 30% of the earthquakes? That means all of these earthquakes that you see here are only 30% of real world. For example, this earthquake here in the center of your screen here, this would be a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake just by itself. But this earthquake is only 1/3 of the size of what it really was, which means this is probably a 3.5, 3.7 earthquake right there. How about this 3.0 earthquake that happened just after 4 a.m. this morning, or 4:30 a.m. this morning, excuse me. This was a 3.0 just looking at it. This means this was at least a 3.5 to 4.0 earthquake. My word, Mount Rainier is moving, doesn't it? Mount Rainier is moving. We have upwards of anywhere from tremors to full-blown 4.0 moderate earthquakes here happening at Mount Rainier today. The people from Mount Rainier, or I should say from Mount Rainier, yes, there are hikers, there are campers, there are some people that live here on Mount Rainier. I used to correspond with, and we had a member of our own EMA family that used to live here on Mount Rainier. They were helping climbers and environmentalists and campers here to explore Mount Rainier. She used to help them. Her name was Kat. I haven't seen her in a lot of years. I don't know what happened to her. But she told me that the earthquakes hitting here every day. That was years ago. Earthquakes are still hitting here. She also said there was a huge bulge on the northwest side of the volcano. The bulge has gotten bigger. Just like happened at Mount St. Helens back in March of 1980. The bulge blew out at Mount St. Helens, and it's possible this bulge may blow out at Mount Rainier as well. Can happen. Can happen. It will happen. On the right side of this magma churn signal, you see vertical lines here. These vertical lines are steam signals. Steam signals. Mount Rainier is steaming. If you see another small vertical line here without a dot in the middle of it, vertical lines with a dot are earthquakes. The vertical lines here without dots are steam signals here at Mount Rainier on this particular seismograph. Mount Rainier is active. Mount Rainier is very active. You cannot discount Mount Rainier at all. Now notice at the top of this seismograph. The top of this seismograph shows everything at 5 p.m. Pacific time here in Washington State yesterday. What happened last night? What happened last night down off the southern tip of Argentina? What happened? A major earthquake. Why is USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network not showing that earthquake on the seismograph? Seismographs from around the world covered that earthquake. Why are they not showing them here? Inquiring minds want to know, huh? Yes, we do. Guess what? You're about to get answers to that question. Let's look here at Camp Muir. Camp Muir. Over here at the top of this diagram is again 5 p.m. yesterday. Guess what happened last night? Pacific time. Pacific time, guys. Here it shows just before 8 p.m., probably 7:30 here. Major earthquake south of Argentina. It showed up here on the diagram, didn't it? Look at all that shaking here in Argentina. Why is it not showing on the other seismograph? I'm going to show you several other seismographs where it's showing too. When it's not showing on the seismograph means the agency wiped it off, erased it. Just like they erase other earthquakes and tremors here. They do it every day. Yes, we're still showing a lot of earthquakes here at Camp Muir. It's active, very active. We're showing minor earthquakes for the most part, nothing bigger than that. Minor earthquakes and tremors all over Camp Muir here. Let me show you another site right here at Mount Rainier. Let me go over to Emerald Ridge here. Look here at Emerald Ridge. At Emerald Ridge, they're showing us one earthquake, actually two. They're showing us the earthquake down at Drake's Passage. They're also showing us one other one here. Early this morning. Early this morning, guys. What is it? What is this, guys? This is after 6:15 this morning. This happened at approximately 6:10 a.m. this morning. This is a 3.0 earthquake here at Emerald Ridge on Mount St. Helens. This is the southwest side of Mount Rainier. Southwest side of Mount Rainier, Emerald Ridge. It showed you here the earthquake in Argentina, or south of Argentina here in the Drake Passage. We have again over a 3.2 earthquake here at Emerald Ridge, Mount Rainier. Interesting, huh? It gets even to be more interesting than that. I'm trying to size this diagram right so the other diagram you're going to see just fine. I'm not going to have to resize the diagram later. Okay? Again, that's at Mount Rainier. But we're not done. Let's go over Rushing Water Creek. Rushing Water Creek. I want to show you the feel of waves here at Rushing Water Creek. The other seismographs were not recording it. Not recording it at all. But here we see the magnitude of magma coming into Mount Rainier. Look at this. The greater amount of VLF waves here, the VLF waves are caused by magma coming into the magma chamber under pressure. That's what we see here. Okay? Where you see the greater number of squiggly lines here, that is Argentina earthquake, not the Argentina, but the Drake Passage earthquake. Drake Passage earthquake. Before that, you're seeing these wavy VLF waves caused by magma coming into Mount Rainier here. Okay? Look at that. Magma is coming into Mount Rainier. Okay? Over at Camp Sherman, they forgot to show the earthquake at Argentina, or down in Drake's Passage, didn't they? I don't think they forgot it, they erased it. But on the other diagrams, they forgot to erase it. Okay? Why not? Why are they not showing it? Inquiring minds want to know. Mount St. Helens. Look at this. This is east of Mount St. Helens on top of the plug of the volcano. Again, we're seeing the earthquake down at Drake's Passage here. We're also seeing minor earthquakes and tremors here. Minor earthquakes and tremors here at Mount St. Helens. Right here. The bottom center of the sidegram here. What are we seeing? Okay, this is after 9 a.m. here. It's about 9, I'm going to say 9:06, 9:07 this morning. This is a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. Look at that triangle going out to the right of that earthquake. That triangle goes out about 30 seconds after the quake, which means this was actually a 3.0 earthquake here. Not a 2.9, but a 3.0 earthquake here. You see other tremors here as well. How about this earthquake on the red line here at the bottom? I pulled this sidegram just after 1 o'clock today, 1:15. We're seeing a 2.0 earthquake here. Sorry about that. We're seeing a 2.0 earthquake. Fascinating, huh? Absolutely is. Absolutely is. Earthquakes are happening all over, aren't they? Let me show you another one over at September low. Okay? Actually, before that, I want to show you what is happening at East Dome Mount St. Helens as to the magma entering the magma chamber. Look at this. Look at all these squiggly lines here. This is the magma coming into Mount St. Helens right there. All the earthquake happened at Drake's Passage here is also shown here. That's actually the earthquake at Drake's Passage. The rest of this is all Mount St. Helens. We're showing the earthquakes at Mount St. Helens. You also see the magma here. The squiggly lines are VF waves caused by magma entering the magma chamber. That's a lot of magma, isn't it? It's also quite a few earthquakes. But again, USGS was not showing this on the earthquake map, were they? Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid they tell us the truth. I'm not done. How about September lobe at Mount St. Helens? September lobe is another seismograph sitting on top of the summit of the volcano. Look at this. This is the VLF, excuse me. This is the channel showing the magma coming into magma chamber from September lobe. The BDF CC01 magma channel, or seismic channel here on the seismograph. Look at this. Heavy duty magma coming into this magma chamber. Look at this. Look at this. Early this morning into early this afternoon. Look at all that magma. Yet they're only showing us a handful of earthquakes, meaning the magma is coming into the magma chamber here, causing earthquakes that they're not showing us on either the seismogram or on the USGS map. With all the squiggly lines, all these swirly lines here caused by magma coming into the volcano, what happens with the magma? The magma coming into the volcanic chamber is fracturing rock inside the volcanic chamber, right? That fracturing rock is causing movement, earth movement, called earthquakes. They're not showing them, are they? Not at all. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Why are they not showing them? Mount St. Helens is moving all over the place, but they're not showing it. Let's go south of Mount St. Helens. Okay, I'm going to show you two seismograms at Mount Hood. Two of them. I'm going to show you the main seismogram from Government Camp called Timberline. Again, at Timberline, you're seeing these long duration earthquakes here. Long duration tremor activity here. 3 and 4 minutes of long duration tremor activity caused by magma coming into the magma chamber here at Mount Hood. This is Northern Oregon, Mount Hood. You also see the earthquake down at Drake's Passage here. Down in the middle and the bottom of the middle here, you're seeing again this magma causing these long duration minor tremors. Then at the very bottom, you're seeing harmonic tremors again. Mount Hood and all the other volcanoes are having harmonic tremors. They are vibrating. The magma is coming in at such a rate at these volcanoes, it's causing the mountain to vibrate, causing harmonic tremors. One other seismic here at Mount Hood, and I'm not gonna stop at Mount Hood, but I am gonna stop at Crater Lake in just a minute. Okay, I want to show you the BHN channel, the VLF wave channel at Mount Hood. Look at this. Okay, again, we're seeing these long duration tremor signals caused by magma coming into the volcano. We're also seeing the Drake Passage volcano. And down at the bottom, we're again seeing magma harmonics, harmonic tremors. You're also seeing very few small VLF waves here caused by magma coming into the magma chamber here. Let's go down to Bachelor Volcano, right here. Just like Mount Baker, Bachelor Volcano to the south of Mount Hood is causing magma vibrations here, harmonic tremors. Up at the top and down at the bottom, we are also seeing minor earthquakes and tremors here. That's what's happening. Bachelor Volcano is also very active. Let's drop down to Sisters Volcano here. Look at this. We're seeing the harmonic tremors. We're seeing minor earthquakes here at Sisters Volcano as well. Unreal. All of these volcanoes are active. Every one of these volcanoes are active, guys. What do we expect? What are we expecting? Let's look at Crater Lake now. Good old Crater Lake bunkhouse. I want to show you this one here. This is a main seismogram from Crater Lake. Crater Lake used to have 5 seismographs monitoring this volcano. It has one on the south center part of Crater Lake. You see earthquakes here. We're seeing minor tremors for the most part, and we're seeing at least one 2.4, 2.5 earthquake, and the rest of this is all magma coming into the magma chamber here. These wavy lines are magma coming into the volcano here. Unreal. Even Crater Lake is moving to a great extent, but they should have those other seismographs going, but they don't. They've taken them down. They know that Crater Lake is going to erupt at some point in time too. And Crater Lake has a lake at the top of it. In the past, we showed you pictures of this lake. What's going to happen, guys? What do you think is going to happen? When that hot magma hits the water, I shouldn't say magma because once it leaves the interior of the volcano, it becomes lava. When that hot 1,500, 2,000 degree lava hits this cold water, it's going to be causing a cataclysmic explosion, a catastrophic eruption here at Crater Lake. It's going to happen. It's a matter of time. Do we know when? No, we absolutely don't. But it is going to happen. That you can take to the bank. Now, guys, this is Preparedness Friday. We haven't been on the air but less than 2 hours right now. I want to talk about what we're going to do planning for hurricanes. We just got through seeing a major hurricane off the east coast of North America. We're going to see more earthquakes. We're going to see more hurricanes as well. Not just here in the United States, but around the world. Down in the southern part of the Pacific Ocean, we've already seen numerous cyclones. Off the East Coast, I'm sorry, not the East Coast, off the West Coast of Mexico and California, we've seen hurricanes. They're still off in the ocean right now, sputtering and spinning around. They're not going to hurt anybody because they're not in areas where the public is at. But they're still hurricanes. We're seeing more and more hurricanes coming into the East Coast now. They're going to happen. So let's talk about hurricane do's and don'ts. We briefly covered this a couple weeks ago. Let's talk about it again. Hurricane do's and don'ts. Things you should consider preparing for right now so that you can ride out the storm. Let's talk about the don'ts first. Don't go outside during the storm. This should be a no-brainer. Even a Category 1 hurricane can reach sustained winds of 77 miles per hour. 74 to 77 miles per hour. Category 5 winds are over 156 miles per hour. Hurricane Erin, just after it left tropical storm stage, was a Category 5 storm, only because it was manipulated. Only because it was manipulated. There were no other cargo ships north and west of there. The strength of that hurricane went down substantially. Substantially. Wind speeds like this can turn even small debris into missiles. Wind speeds such as this, 125 to 156 miles per hour, can turn even small items into deadly missiles. Don't be fooled by the eye of the storm. Please do not be fooled by the eye of the storm. Why? If you already don't know, the eye of the storm is usually very calm air. But what is on the other end of the eye of the storm? In this case, Hurricane Erin at one point had an eye that was 31 miles wide. Before it went off the coast of North Carolina and Virginia, the storm was only 1.5 miles wide. What was on the other side of the eye? The hurricane is rotating counterclockwise. So when you would get into the other side of the storm, all of a sudden we'd have a wind change, wouldn't we? The winds would be blowing in the opposite direction, meaning you're in a lot of trouble. If you're out in the middle of a storm and you think it's over, it's not. It's going to continue, but this time from the opposite direction. When you see the winds change, you're going to go, oh crap, why am I still outside? Don't be fooled by the eye of the storm. During the time Hurricane Erin was blowing, the entire time Hurricane Erin was blowing, it had 3 eye wall changes. The eye wall changed quite a few times, 3 times. Sometimes it only changes twice. But when it changes, the speed of the wind of the hurricane also changes. Either it changes upward or it changes downward. You need to know this. Do not be fooled by the eye of the storm. They will have eye wall changes and things could get really mean. Don't grill outdoors. Don't grill indoors and don't grill outdoors either. Stay indoors. Don't take the chance of being out in the storm and grilling, because the wind could change or the wind could get really bad and tip over your grill, and then you would have a house fire. How'd you like to have your house on fire because you were outside in the storm? Don't do it. Don't take your grill indoors either, because if you're grilling indoors with that grill, you're going to have carbon monoxide poison and CO2 poison as well. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is an odorless inert gas, but it can become very deadly. If you have a concentration of CO2 gas, you're not going to be able to breathe in the air. The air will be saturated with CO2 gas and you will die. Carbon monoxide poison also throws out the air as well. Don't be found with a grill indoors at all. Charcoal or gas grills can release deadly levels of carbon monoxide. Don't do it. Also, one of the things you also need to do is not do this. Don't drink non-bottled or untreated water. Do not drink non-bottled or untreated water. Floodwater is often filled with bacteria and other contaminants, including sewage. Do not drink tap water, and don't drink any water exposed to floodwaters. Don't drink any water exposed to floodwaters, including bottled water. If the bottled water has been exposed to floodwaters, it's going to be contaminated as well. Don't do it. The Food and Drug Administration has tips on how to make your tap water safe to drink. Go over to FDA.gov and find those tips to make your tap water safe to drink. The next thing you need to not do is drink alcohol. I know in the past people wanted to have hurricane parties. Don't do it. If you become inebriated or you become toxic to the alcohol, what's going to happen? You're going to either flop on your back like a goose out of water, a goose with two legs that can't fly. You're going to be just like that goose flopping around on the ground. You're not going to be able to take care of yourself, and you won't be able to take care of your family. You won't be very happy to anybody, and you won't be able to help anybody either. Do not drink alcohol. Don't drink alcohol during a hurricane. You never know when you're going to need to evacuate your home at a moment's notice or deal with other life-threatening situations. You're going to want all your wits about you while you're in a hurricane that's raging. That's why some jurisdictions will ban alcohol sales prior to a hurricane. Let's talk about things you need to do. First, stock up on lots and lots of water. Stock up on lots and lots of water, preferably not soda. Soda will dehydrate you. Yes, it might taste good and everything, but soda will dehydrate you. You need to have water. The CDC recommends at least 5 gallons of water per person. CDC recommends at least 5 gallons of water per person. You may also want to buy iodine tablets to clean drinking water. Also, make sure that you have more to eat than chips and salsa, or bread for that matter. You're going to want to have lots of non-perishable items with nutritional value. You're going to want to have lots of non-perishable items with nutritional value, especially canned foods. A minimum of 3 to 5 days supply of food per person is recommended. A minimum of 3 to 5 days worth of supply of food per person. Third, do prepare your household properly. Prepare your household properly. Clear your yard of furniture or anything else that could blow around. Even the smallest stake in the ground or a 2x4 outside or a hand shovel in your garden or any kind of other object the wind can pick up. The wind can turn that object to a missile. It could blow it into the fence, into your walls of your home, or even through your walls into you. Make sure you're outside prior to the hurricane hitting and clear your yard of all objects that could hurt you or somebody else. Cover your windows and doors using storm shutters or plywood, and stay away from windows and doors during the storm. Make sure your carbon dioxide detectors have enough battery life to prevent CO2 poisoning. Make sure your carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide detectors have enough battery life to prevent CO2 poisoning. Now, something else. Be responsible and prepare for the worst. Make sure that you have emergency and evacuation plans in place before the storm hits. We've been talking about everybody having an emergency preparedness plan for whatever happens. Not just a hurricane, not just an earthquake, but a possible active shooter in your area? How about a plane crashing in your neighborhood like happened in San Diego, in central San Diego County just a few weeks ago? And several other places also just during the past few months. Or what else happens? What else happens? How about a train derailment or a building exploding? A building exploding, guys, that happened this week. How about an oil refinery explosion like we've had about 3 of them already this year? Prepare for all kinds of emergencies. Write a preparedness plan on things you're going to do before, during, and after the emergency. Write an evacuation plan as well. Where are you going to go and how are you going to get there? Make sure you have three different locations you're going to go to. What if one of them is closed? That way you'll have at least 2 others to go to. Make pre-approved plans to be there. If you have to shell out a couple $10 a month to make sure you have a location to go to in case of emergency, do it. $10 or $12 is not much, but at least you have an alternative place to go. Okay? How about a way to get there? Make sure your car is tuned. Make sure your car can get there. Make sure your car is full of gas. Why? During Hurricane Katrina, or right before Hurricane Katrina, we saw people headed north out of Louisiana. Head north out of Louisiana. What was happening? Huge traffic jam for 32 miles. Huge 32-mile traffic jam. People stopped on the road because their cars failed them, because they were out of fuel. Or the car broke down because it was out of tune. Make sure your car is going to be tuned right. Make sure it's full of gas. We talked about this same problem in regards to earthquakes and other disasters. Make sure you have at least 3/4 of a tank of gas. Never let your gas tank go below half a tank. If you do, you're on the road trying to get out of town because of a hurricane, you're going to stall out in traffic. Then you're going to make other travelers a lot more matter because they're stopped because your car is stopped in the middle of the roadway. Don't do it. Make sure you have a full tank of gas. Okay? Make sure you have emergency and evacuation plans in place before the storm hits. The last of all, communication. Communicate these plans to everyone at your house or everyone in your business. Because maybe you guys are going to be working up until the hurricane hits. And then everybody's going to have to evacuate. Communicate these plans to everyone in your business and everybody in your home. Find out where the nearest storm shelters are going to be, so that if you don't have anywhere else to go, there's a storm shelter you can go to. Keep track of the storm. Keep track of the storm. Now, what happens when a storm blows in? It knocks out electricity, doesn't it? Knocks out cell towers. This radio here, that's all a cell phone is a radio. It's going to become worthless. You're not going to be able to call anybody. You might be able to text message people. That's all you're going to be able to do because text messaging probably will go through. Make sure you have a radio. We've talked about GMRS, General Mobile Radio Service radios. We talked about ham radios. We've also talked about family radio service radios, where you can get them for like $20 for 2 of them. Make sure you have a way to communicate. The 2-way radios, the ham radio, the family radio service, and the GMRS radios, 2-way radios to communicate with your family members. Also, you need to have an AM/FM weather radio. That way you're going to keep track of the storm. Your AM/FM radio should be battery operated. You should have a crank on the back to crank it to provide electricity for your radio. That way, you'll be able, if you tune your radio to a news talk station on the AM or FM side, you'll be able to hear what's going on. They will tell you what's going on with the hurricane. On the other hand, if you have the weather radio attached to it, you'll also be able to tune into your local weather station and be able to hear what's going on around you. I played you my radio frequency the other day. They were telling us what to do when Hurricane Erin was going to hit here. I played that for you. There was a reason. That way you can see that it worked. It works. Make sure you have adequate communication plans before the storm hits. Keep track of the storm. Also, have plenty of flashlights. Have plenty of flashlights. For example, this flashlight right here. It's called a Halo XT flashlight, made by 4 Patriots. It has backup batteries built into it. Okay? Also, right here is a solar panel to help keep it charged. Fancy that. Right here's a magnet. This is a magnet. You can put this on the side of your refrigerator or underneath your metal dashboard of your car. Okay? Keep it handy. Right here. See this point right here? What's it for? In case you're in your car and you have to get out and you can't operate the electronic windows. You'll be able to tap your window like that and break the glass. Then take your flashlight like this, clear the gas out of the window, and then you can leave your vehicle. Your vehicle starts filling with water, break the glass, clear the glass from the window, and swim out. Okay? You don't have to get trapped in a flooded car. Also, right here. This is a knife here. There's a knife. You can't see the edge of the knife, but this is a knife. Okay? It can open envelopes or it can cut paper. Okay? Right here. This is the button to turn the flashlight on and off. There are 2 levels of flashlight. 1, a low beam, and 2, a very blinding high beam. I'm not going to turn on either beam right now because it might burn out what they call the Vidicon lens, or the Vidicon electronic lens inside the camera. Very bright flashlight. On the back of the flashlight right here, we have a compass. Fancy that. You can unscrew the compass from the end of the flashlight and place it on a map. So you can orient your map and know the direction you're going to have to go. Also on the end of this flashlight, we have what? A way to charge your cell phone. A way to charge your cell phone or keep your radios active. How about that? All because the Halo XT flashlight was made with preparedness in mind. I love this. This is a $50 flashlight from 4 Patriots. Now, folks, there's one other thing you should have besides that. Yes, we have flashlights in every room of our home. Multiple flashlights in every room of our home. But there's something else. Okay? There's something else. Okay? Also from 4 Patriots. This device right here. It's a backup battery for your cell phones. Right here, you have a solar panel. This is a solar panel to keep this device fully charged. On this end of it right here, we have the ability to plug in two different cell phones at any time. This battery will keep cell phones charged at least 2 or 3 times each. This battery will recharge cell phones at least 2 or 3 times battery life. But you can also put this in the window of your car. It's not going to melt. It's not going to bend. It's made of polypropylene plastic. It's very durable, very hard. Also something else. Right here. It's got a light. How about that? A light. Very portable, isn't it? Also, at the end of this, besides being able to charge your phones, in the center here, you have the ability to keep this plugged into your house. That way you can charge this solar battery for your house current. How about that? This battery was made with preparedness in mind. Also, see this hook here? You can hook it to your belt. You can hook it to the outside of your backpack if you're hiking. That way you can keep this device charged. Solar panel. 4 Patriots. This would cost you about $25 from 4 Patriots. Okay, nice idea, huh? Yeah. You need to have it. You need to be very serious to figure out what you're going to do. Okay? I also have several other flashlights here as well. This is my old police flashlight here. There are scratches on it from using it for various law enforcement purposes. This is also very bright. This is machined aluminum, totally unbreakable. You can drive a car over it. This flashlight is not going to bend or get hurt. With also very bright light here. Okay, I bought this for like $22. Now it's probably close to $42 now. Okay, it's a 3-cell C-cell flashlight. Good to have on hand. Does anybody have any questions about emergency preparedness for hurricanes? This is the middle of hurricane season, guys. We're talking about preparedness because we're going to see more hurricanes. I want you to be prepared at all costs. You need to be prepared for all things. Everything could happen. That's what we talk about preparedness on this channel. Do we have anybody with questions right now? I'm happy to answer anybody's questions. My buddy Rick Smith is here. Thank you, Rick, for being here. God bless you. My buddy Laura Marie from Oregon is also here. Her and her husband John are very good friends of mine. I love you all. Laura's asking, what examples are of alternative safe places? Again, an example is this. We talked about evacuation plans, alternative safe places. If you have to evacuate your home, you need to have somewhere else to go, right? Think about this. Say I have to evacuate my home here. Where am I going to go? Number one, I'm going to look for places to camp. State or national parks. Or an RV park. Yes, an RV park. I'm going to make a road map on a paper map and make it with a colored pencil or a colored light see-through marking pen so it doesn't obliterate your map. Mark each evacuation route with a different color and every place you might go to with a different color also. That way you can differentiate between paths you're going to travel. Alternative places for safe places. This can be for a hurricane, this could be for an earthquake or a volcanic eruption. Think about it. Where are you going to go? You need to plan for this, guys. Write an emergency preparedness plan. Think about safe places. Safe places. You need to have at least 3 evacuation routes for 3 different places you're going to go to. You want to have at least 3 different safe places to go to and 3 different places or routes you're going to travel. Mark all 3 routes on a paper map. That way there's no mistaking where you're going to go and what routes you're going to take. Stay off highways and freeways if you can. Use surface streets to get to where you need to go if possible. Stay off main arteries. You don't want a roadblock or any other kind of blockade to happen. At some point in time, you may be encountered with a roadblock, and they're going to ask you, why do you have camo gear? Why do you have camo backpacks? I don't have those. Camouflage backpacks indicate you're in the military. Don't let them even think of that, because they might hold you there to find out why you were evacuated if you're needed by the military. They might hold you there. Or they might try to go into your backpacks and find out what gear they might need and keep you there as well. Stay off main drags, stay off of main highways. Use alternative roadways, surface streets, if at all possible. Laura, that was a great question. Renee Sevi says, turn off all natural gas and even electricity if possible before the storm. Yeah, you might need to turn off the gas and also the electricity. Natural gas, most probably. Don't let that natural gas poison you. Natural gas is just as bad as any other gas or charcoal burning. It can leave you with carbon monoxide and CO2 poison inside your home. Don't go there. Don't go there. Renee Sevi says, tornadoes often accompany hurricanes. As I said yesterday and the day before that, those outer bands of the storm carry thunderstorms and tornadoes. They can spin those thunderstorms off to where you live. You need to be aware of it because Thunderstorms can contain tornadoes as well. Renee Steffi, we talked about this the other day. Another thing you need to do is check your insurance. See if you have hurricane coverage in case you have damage to your home or other property. You might also look into flood insurance. Both hurricane and flood insurance are very expensive. They're often sold separately, not together. Linda Goy told us here, when you're evacuated, churches, community centers, and schools may be places of shelters. True. Churches, community centers, and schools are often shelters. Check into that. Check into that before your emergency happens. Check with your city or town and see what schools, churches, or social buildings, community centers are going to be used as shelters in case of an emergency in your area. That was good. Thank you for that. Linda, that was awesome. Linda's also saying, remember to take all pertinent documents with you. We talked about that before as well. That's very important. Any other questions? These are all very good items to think about. I appreciate that. Any other questions? Guys, I love you and care for you. I really do. It means the world to me to know that you're here. Okay? Now, something else I want to show you tonight. At the end of every program, I share a devotional with you. That's what I'm going to do now. I care for you. We want you to be prepared. We want you to be ready for anything that can happen. That is paramount. That's absolutely paramount. What's going to happen when everything goes to heck in a handbasket? What is going to happen when everything goes to heck in a handbasket? Be prepared for summer pet emergencies. Be prepared for summer pet emergencies. I have friends that operate this company. Okay? Petemergencies.com. Check them out. They can help you and your pets. Don't forget your pets as well. Don't forget your pets as well. Something else. Remain on the covenant path. Make sure you keep communications open with our Heavenly Father. Pray. Pray to your Heavenly Father. Stay on the covenant path with Him. You never know when the time is going to come, when you're going to come face to face with Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ. Make sure you stay on the preparedness path, on the covenant path. Very important. Very, very important. Now I'm trying to find a meme I put up here. I am not finding it right now, which is unfortunate. Here it is. Right here. This is part of my scriptures. Should be part of yours. Remember this. Wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, stand ye in holy places and be not moved. Stand ye in holy places and be not moved. Remember the house that was built upon the rock? Remember the house that was built upon the rock? When the storm winds come up, it's not going to be moved, but the house upon the sand is going to be destroyed, just like we showed you at the beginning of this broadcast. Stand ye in holy places and be not moved, until the day of the Lord come. For behold, it cometh quickly, saith the Lord. Amen. Remember that. Stand ye in holy places. Okay? I remember that scripture quite a lot. And you should too. Be on the covenant path of the Heavenly Father. Linda's talking about wildfires in Santa Rosa, California. and she went to Veterans Hall. They also had the fairgrounds open for all people and all horses and stuff that were evacuated. That happens in the Los Angeles area. When we have the Los Angeles fires last year, we're constantly giving you updates on the areas that were closed, the streets and roads, the evacuation places, and the shelters as well. Remember that. Keep all those areas in mind. Demon Catman is reminding everybody here, if you want to help support this program, remember our PayPal, which is down at the bottom of your screen just below this video today. You can go to our PayPal locations to help support this program here. We'd appreciate that. You also see our email address where you can send us comments, criticism, and even things that you would like to hear on this program. rltnspdema at gmail.com. Our address to send us cards and letters here is 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. Okay? You can send us letters. We encourage you to send us letters telling us how you're doing, and second, telling us what things you're going to do or are doing to be prepared. And if you want us to share your name, you can do that also. Put that information in the letter. If you don't want us to share your name, we won't share it without your permission. But we'd like to know the things you're doing to be able to share with everybody else. Okay? Third, you can send us a letter. If you do, you can send us a donation inside that letter. You can stick a donation inside that letter and then send it to us. Also, if you get a card, we like cards and letters as well. But if you get us a card, you can stick a donation inside the card and send us to. Okay, that's why we have our address here. We've had many cards and letters in the past. Now we haven't had a card in almost 2 months now. Okay. Linda's saying here in the chat we have wildfires around her near Calistoga, California. Oh, wildfires are everywhere. Northern California, up even to Mount Shasta area where Hurricane Heather lives, over in Oregon and Washington where what's his name? My buddy Daryl is there in Southern Oregon talking about the wildfires in Oregon. Okay? He's sometimes here in the chat. He's not here tonight. But guys, wildfires are everywhere. You need to keep this idea in mind, whether you have evacuations ongoing or you need to plan for a possible evacuation as well, a possible safe place to go. Think about it. Guys, I love you. I care for each and every one of you and your families. Please stay safe out here. Please stay safe. I love you. I care about you, or I wouldn't even be here. That's why we're here. I do care about you and love you a lot. Okay? That's why I'm here. I ask God to bless you. There's a lot of people here, members of our own family here, that need help and blessings. Ask God to help them. If you don't see a member of our EMA family here, pray for them as well. There's a very good possibility they may need extra prayers from help from the Lord. Also, those people around you, your family and your neighbors, look out for them as well. If you have elderly people in your neighborhood, look out for them as well. Make sure they have the food and water necessary to have life sustaining. And even prayers for them. When I've gone visiting people, I've had neighbors and friends that ask me to sit down or kneel down and pray with them. And I do that. Please do that for friends of yours and family members as well. Guys, if anything else happens today or tonight, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Usually we take Saturdays off. I have been known to come in on Saturdays and put out a broadcast during or after an emergency happens. We'll do that. Otherwise, if we take Saturdays off, we come on the air on Sunday afternoon, about 12:30, with Come Follow Me, the Savior Said, a weekly Sunday school class that we've been doing for about 6 years now. I love the Savior. I ask him and our Heavenly Father to bless you. Bless you with the things you stand in need of. Demon Catman says prayers and blessings to everybody. I agree. I love you very much, everyone. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side.